Colleagues, thank you for gathering this afternoon and for your continuing support. On the 1st of July last year, I stood before you as your newly elected leader, and I said that this party would be guided by 5 core objectives, the first of which was to remove the Irish Sea border and its pernicious impact on our trading and constitutional position. That morning I also said that politics was not about being in office, but about using all the experience, skill and support at my disposal to help make Northern Ireland a better place and to secure our position within the United Kingdom. That remains this party's core focus. This commitment was the basis upon which we re-entered the executive in early 2020. And have participated in the political institutions since then. To date, this commitment has not been honoured by the UK government. And of course, the commitment to which I refer is in the New Decade, New Approach Agreement. And we have reminded the government of their promise in that agreement to protect Northern Ireland's place within the UK internal market. We are clear that the protocol represents an existential threat to the Union and to the future of Northern Ireland within the United Kingdom. The High Court has ruled that the protocol suspends key elements of the Act of Union, and specifically Article 6, which previously guaranteed the right of every citizen and every business in Northern Ireland to trade freely with the rest of the United Kingdom. The longer the protocol remains, the more it will harm the Union itself. There can be no doubt that we have made progress in convincing others of the merits of our case. Indeed, even our political opponents now talk less about the rigorous implementation of the protocol and more about the need to find solutions to the problems and the difficulties the protocol has created. Having previously said that the protocol could not be altered, even the European Union has returned to the negotiating table and published proposals of its own. We have made progress in focusing minds on this and on the difficulties that this protocol is causing for Northern Ireland. And I am convinced that it is only through our determination that the European Union in particular and the UK government are back at the negotiating table. The government now accepts the harm that the protocol is doing and appears to accept that not only is change required, but that it must be secured if the gains made as a result of recent political progress are not to be squandered. However, every day that Northern Ireland is subjected to some new protocol problem that bedevils a business, a customer, a sector of the population as a whole, is a day too long, in my opinion. Every single Northern Ireland elected representative, including all of you gathered here this afternoon, know well the number of hours that have been spent trying to advise constituents, businesses in our constituencies about navigating the new arrangements born out of the protocol. In the 217 days that I have been leader of this party, the Northern Ireland Protocol has cost our economy £535 million. That's £2.5 million every single day, and over £100,000 every single hour. It really does beg the question why other parties sit on their hands when our economy is being harmed to the tune of £100,000 every single hour. Independent reports have concluded that the protocol does not deliver the best of both worlds. Beyond costing our economy a significant amount of money, it has driven up haulage costs between Great Britain and Northern Ireland by 27% in the last year alone. It has placed a border between us and our most important trading partner, Great Britain, despite the fact that we do 4 times more purchases from Great Britain than we do with the Republic of Ireland and the European Union. This is economic madness. And the protocol has also jeopardised our medicine supply in the middle of a health pandemic. Our Department of Health was able to point to hundreds of medicines where the supply chains may well have dried up if it hadn't been for the government taking emergency action. Around kitchen tables, each evening, families are feeling the squeeze with soaring energy bills. People are debating whether to switch on their heating. And yet the stark reality is that were the government to give a VAT holiday on energy bills, or indeed the announcements made earlier today in the House of Commons, we cannot benefit from many of these government initiatives. Why? Because the Northern Ireland Protocol prohibits us from benefiting from changes such as those proposed by the government to the VAT regime to help householders. Because of the protocol, our own government will not be able to help its own citizens. This is entirely unacceptable. In September, I set out clearly why the protocol needed to be rejected and replaced with arrangements that respected Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom. At that time, I indicated the steps that this party would take. I warned that as leader of the DUP, I was not prepared to lend my hand to a protocol which so fundamentally undermines the Union and the economic integrity of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland's position within it. I was pleased that we were able to cooperate with the leaders of the other Unionist parties to unite in opposition to the protocol and to publish the Unionist declaration on the protocol on the 28th of September last year. Over the last number of months, some have urged us to act in this way or that and to move with haste. Some have urged no action at all. But this party has worked to its strategic plan, whilst allowing time and space for the negotiations to take place between the government and the European Union. The government knows that the protocol does not enjoy the support of the Unionist community. And Brussels can be in no doubt that the protocol has cast its long shadow over Northern Ireland's political arrangements at Stormont. The European Union told us that the protocol and its main purpose was to protect the political institutions, to protect political stability in Northern Ireland. It has had the opposite effect. It has destabilised the politics of Northern Ireland. It has upset the very delicate constitutional balance at the heart of our political arrangements. It has been a long-established norm that arrangements and agreements can only flourish when they are supported by both Unionists and Nationalists. Indeed, one of the most disturbing characteristics of this period is the total disregard of this principle by Brussels, by Dublin, and the protocol cheerleaders here in Northern Ireland. It's as if Unionists are to be seen, but not heard. I think now is the moment when we say enough. We've had enough of being told we must stand by previous agreements, yet the same people who tell us this have destroyed a core pillar at the heart of the Belfast Agreement, the need for cross-community support. We've had enough of Sinn Féin, the SDLP and the Alliance Party seeking the rigorous implementation of a protocol which we know is a bad deal for Northern Ireland. We've had enough of governments talking about power sharing, but ignoring the fact that every elected Unionist in Northern Ireland rejects the Irish Sea border. We've also had enough of Sinn Féin preaching equality, yet the Sinn Féin Culture Minister won't provide funding to mark Her Majesty the Queen's forthcoming Platinum Jubilee. Her Majesty, the longest reigning monarch in our history, and we can't yet funding to mark this historic occasion. And Sinn Féin call this fairness and equality. We've also had enough of Sinn Féin lecturing us about respect. Yet we have a Sinn Féin finance minister who won't even allow us to plant a rose bush in the grounds of Stormont to mark 100 years of Northern Ireland's centenary. If we are to move to the next stage of building a shared future, then humiliation of one side by the other is not the answer. We will not achieve reconciliation through retribution. Therefore, now is the moment to repair our politics, to reset relations, and to restore fairness for all. Now is the moment to send the clear signal that we want Stormont free from the long shadows of the protocol. The Irish Sea border must go. For all our citizens, we ask for nothing more than arrangements that fully respect Northern Ireland's place as a constituent and integral part of the United Kingdom. Some people have said that the EU has already demonstrated pragmatism by agreeing solutions on issues like second-hand cars and steel products. But we can, and we must do better than that. We can do better than saddle future generations with a whack-a-mole politics between London and Brussels. A situation where every time we discover another supply chain problem, it takes months to find a solution. That is not the way to economic stability in Northern Ireland. Such a reactionary approach does not give us a foundation to build that stability here. It does the opposite. There is a better way forward, a way that can truly deliver the best of both worlds, where goods destined to stay in Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom are not checked upon arrival in Northern Ireland. We have previously outlined how we appreciated the need of the European Union to protect the integrity of its single market borders. And we believe there are solutions if the practical will is there. But we are also clear that those solutions must respect the economic and political integrity of the United Kingdom. From the outset, unionism has been reasonable, and we have been patient. When Brussels and London told us they needed space to reach an agreed outcome, we gave them space. We wanted to be reasonable rather than reactionary. We wanted to be practical rather than pedantic. I want devolution to work and to be respected across all communities in Northern Ireland. But for it to work, unionists as well as nationalists must be respected. We want a devolved government that delivers for everyone in Northern Ireland and that can build on stable foundations. These institutions only have value if they enjoy the confidence and support of the people they were established to serve. They only have meaning if they are delivering fairly for all our people, based on the principles of equality and mutual respect on which they were founded. It's time to restore fairness. Lord Trimble, one of the key authors of the Belfast Agreement, said the following: "The Northern Ireland Protocol has not only subverted the main safeguards within the Belfast Agreement, causing civic unrest and political uncertainty, it is also damaging the Northern Ireland economy, disrupting supply chains, inflating prices, and diverting trade from our main market in Great Britain. For many who don't live here in Northern Ireland, this place is a subject. But for we who live here, Northern Ireland is our home. And because of that, we care passionately about doing all we can to make Northern Ireland a success. As we set out on the first year of our next centenary, I want to work with others to build a better Northern Ireland for everyone. And I have spent most of my public life working for peace and stability in Northern Ireland, as have many in this room. We've been involved in what seems like an endless cycle of talks, negotiations, and processes. The ultimate goal was to build political relationships that worked for everyone and to give our people who live here control over their own affairs. Do we have that under the protocol, where laws are made in Brussels over which we have no say? Respecting difference and securing consensus became part of the political language in Northern Ireland. Where is that consensus now when it comes to the protocol? We often hear the late John Hume lauded as the father of the peace process. And even John Hume, who was a great believer in the European project, preached the politics of consensus as the only way to build the kind of shared future for Northern Ireland. I don't hear much of that consensus these days, when the views and concerns of unionists on this protocol are completely ignored. Respecting difference and securing consensus has to be the way forward. Yet the protocol shreds all of that work. If this Irish sea border is left in place, then the divergence between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom will grow, and without a single vote cast, the protocol will have reoriented our supply chains and our economy away from our fellow UK neighbours in Great Britain. Laws will be made and implemented that impact every single citizen in Northern Ireland, but without any local representative having shaped them or voted upon them. Is this democracy? There comes a moment when we have to take tough decisions if we are to build for the future, and such a moment has arrived. Despite the sometimes positive noises, the talks on the protocol have thus far failed to come to a conclusion. Not because of a lack of time, but rather because minds do not seem to be focused on really fixing our problems. Without resolute action on our part, these talks could drift on for many further months, even years. That is bad for Northern Ireland. The instability and the uncertainty that this creates is bad for everyone in Northern Ireland. The Prime Minister told me at the Conservative Party conference last October there would be a short, sharp negotiating process lasting 3 weeks. 3 months later, no progress has been made. I think we've been patient. I think we've allowed time for progress to be made. And I believe that the UK government in particular has a responsibility to deliver its commitment set out in the New Decade New Approach Agreement to ensure that Northern Ireland remains an integral part of the United Kingdom internal market. That's the basis on which we re-entered power sharing and the political institutions back at the beginning of 2020. That promise, that commitment from the UK government. And yet, whilst they call on parties to respect the agreement and to deliver on our part, they have failed to deliver on their commitment to respect and restore our place within the UK internal market. We have sought to have discussions with other parties in the executive on the legality of the checks being carried out at our ports. Last week, our Minister Edwin Poots brought a paper to the executive. Sinn Féin blocked that paper, would not allow any discussion on matters that are fundamentally important to the people of Northern Ireland. We are told the executive is the place to deal with these things, and yet Sinn Féin will not allow the DUP and a DUP minister with responsibility for these matters to table a paper for discussion at the executive. Consequently, our Minister Edwin Poots yesterday took action by issuing an instruction to stop these unlawful, unnecessary and unacceptable checks at our ports. Having already withdrawn my ministers from the North-South Ministerial Council, I warned back in September that in the absence of decisive action to restore Northern Ireland's place in the UK internal market, we would take further decisive action. I have given the government and the EU more than enough time to act. The time has now come for us to act and for the people to have their say. Consequently, the First Minister, Paul Givan, MLA, has this afternoon tendered his resignation to the Speaker of the Northern Ireland Assembly. His resignation will take effect from midnight tonight. And I want to pay tribute to Paul for the contribution that he has made to the people of Northern Ireland in providing leadership within the executive during his term of office, for his service to the people of Northern Ireland, and for all that he has achieved during that period of time. Other DUP ministers will remain in post in advance of the forthcoming election, and we will work to ensure, where possible, legislation is able to continue through the Assembly prior to any dissolution date set by the Secretary of State. I am glad that the freedom and liberty we enjoy as servants of the people enables us to take our case to the people of Northern Ireland. I believe it is time for the people of Northern Ireland to have their say. I'm a Democrat. I believe in the will of the people, and I look forward to presenting our case to the people in every county, in every town and every village across Northern Ireland. In doing so, we make it clear that unless the protocol is replaced by arrangements that restore Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom, we will not give our consent to consigning Northern Ireland to second best. We want to make Northern Ireland work, and we want to see everyone succeed and to realise their potential. We want to rebuild our economy and our society after the pandemic. We want to invest more in our health service, coupled with much needed reform, so that we can properly tackle our hospital waiting lists. We want to help skill up and equip our young people for the future and help hard-pressed families with childcare. But all of this can only be achieved with stability and fairness. We value our British identity, and we respect those who value and cherish their Irish identity. All we ask in return is that others respect our British identity. We want to cherish those who have come to call Northern Ireland their home, from wherever they hail. We value being part of the United Kingdom. We want to celebrate and promote this place that we call home. But to achieve this, we have to tackle the instability eating away at the heart of our institutions if we are to build on firmer foundations. The challenges ahead seem many, but the prize to be secured will be worth all the effort. Thank you.